I am Feel It.
And I am Fix It. And we talk about life.
And stuff and things.
With the occasional rant.
Which you will have no problem doing.
Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening or good night. Wherever you are, whenever it is. Well, hope you're having a good one.
Absolutely.
Stumbled a little there.
That sounded like you said yellow. And I was like, yellow?
Yellow? What? What?
I think you said hello.
Hello.
I mean, it has been
Hi.
a long week. So, long day.
A long week, long day, long weekend. Yeah.
Well, weekends are never long enough.
They never are.
So
True enough.
we do apologize. Again, we did not record last week as we anticipated that we would not be able to. But it was worth it. We did spend that weekend in a hotel
Yes.
while our house was being shown. But we
Mhm.
did have an offer and we accepted it. Wasn't quite what we'd hoped, but it was what they could do. And
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
and we didn't get back till late because
No.
the showings went up right till we had said we wanted to be home, which was 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
And actually, they went over a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was also Super Bowl evening.
Yep.
So we got home and unpacked and did what we needed to do. And I barely watched the Super Bowl for the first time in years.
Mm-hmm.
But
We didn't miss much.
Yeah, I mean, Lions weren't playing, and
It was a very...
I watched the halftime show though. Not their halftime show. I watched Turning Point's halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
We did as a family. We watched that.
It was interesting.
Yeah, it was. And then I laid down and fell asleep way faster than I thought I would. So
Yeah, it didn't take long.
barely watched any of the
Did not take
the
much.
game.
Yeah.
I remember vaguely you waking me up to say goodbye and saying
Mhm.
the Seahawks won.
Yes.
And then I was like,
It was a
okay.
it was a very defense-oriented game. Both defenses did a really good job, which makes for really boring football.
Yeah, it was just kind of weird. Normally I look forward to it, and
Yeah, it was rather...
I did not.
Yeah, it was two teams I can't say I really cared that much about, so it wasn't...
That kind of
I didn't have any skin in that game.
that kind of weekend.
Yeah, it was.
Got used to, oddly, I barely ate, which was, I know, not great for me, but options and circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of nice to just walk downstairs to find breakfast.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
It was a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But we did, then just an update that we don't have a home to go to.
Not yet, no.
No, we did, and that fell through, and not on us.
No.
It was on the condition of the home. It did
Yeah.
not pass inspection.
Yeah, we knew there was some questionable, and that questionable just went downhill from there.
So significant, and the
Yeah.
sellers are unfortunately unwilling to fix their home. Well,
Yep.
they were with us, and it was a mold. We'll just flat out say it was a lot of mold. And your throat is still messed up, and you were there way longer than I was during the inspection. And
Yeah, when we did our
we knew there was some, but not as
Yeah.
bad as it was.
well, and our youngest is very sensitive to it. She can it takes minutes. She knows. It's like I'm allergic too, but I have a higher threshold, I guess. But
I spent 45 minutes in it. Halfway through, my tongue started swelling up a little bit.
yeah, I was hour and a half, something like that, inside there crawling around in places and getting photos with the inspector. And it's like, and when it was over, it's like my eyes were just itchy and burning, and my throat was rough. And I'm like, okay, this is. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, we're not.
You called it. You called it in the middle of the inspection.
Yeah, it was
You're
like
yeah, this isn't.
It's like we're not gonna. When you've got to remove a wall,
Or two, and a whole bathroom
at least half. On
our dime,
yeah,
as we would so choose to be able to pass inspection.
Yeah. Well, and that's where it became an issue. It's like, okay, we've got to spend a few $1,000s on somebody else's house so that we can buy it from them.
A few thousand would have been one thing.
Well, removal. A couple of grand to remove what's there and then hose it down with mold mitigation
when we
spray.
Thought it was.
That wouldn't be fixing it back up.
Yeah,
that would be getting it out.
That's not what it was going to end up being.
No, it was going to be way more than that once we, to rebuild what was there.
And there were also structural issues that were
there was some stuff
part
that was
of why the mold was accumulating.
Yeah, the grading on the property. There was an entire section of the property that's graded to drain directly into a recessed corner of the house. So it was, and they had a leak at one point, which that happens. It's like a weather cap blew off, and the rain got down the chimney and flowed out and got onto the floor and then run down that exterior wall down into the basement, and that caused some issues. It's like, you know what? Stuff happens. You fix it, but stuff happens. Well, they replaced the weather cap. Great. That's awesome. But they didn't go back and fix the stuff that was messed up. That in and of itself, kind of a problem. And you get down there, and where the grading of the property, there's actually a dip on the outside of the house, like a cistern up against the basement wall. And it's right next to where that fireplace chimney is, where the rainwater got in.
Yeah.
So right to the left is an area that's just constantly damp anytime it's wet out. And it was just so, I'll be nice and say, mildewed and falling apart. And that entire section of the property has to be regraded properly. It's like there has to be some drainage mitigation, and it's like
we're done.
It's like, yeah,
we're done.
I can do a lot of stuff. I'm more than willing to do a lot of stuff. That's a lot of freaking work.
Well, we can't do any of it. It would all have to be done by professionals.
And it would have to be done before we could buy it. And
the loophole is with a VA loan is that it's paid for. It doesn't matter who pays for it, but the repairs have to be paid for by a professional and done by a professional, and then pass inspection. Mm-hmm. We were out.
Yeah.
And
and again, we'd have to pay for it
beforehand
for somebody else's home.
On the gamble that they, continue to let us buy it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. There was a lot of time in there, but.
And now days have passed and time has passed, and our buyer is still on track to purchase our home.
Yes.
So, not sure how that's going to look, but my eyes it's Sunday, and my eyes are still itchy.
I got a little of that going on too.
Pain I have ever had in my eyes. And I've had a lot of it. I've never had the itchiness that I do. So I just went back up to my special prescription drops 4 times a day when I was down to 2. 2 to 3. I went up to 4, back up to 4, and I've been doing artificial tears and just hoping, hoping it'll go down.
So there's,
and my face went nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, my face hasn't hurt like that in, oh my gosh, a year. So I got real used to my face being better, and the only time it really hurts is significant barometric changes usually, or I'm starting to get some kind of like sinus head thing. And I felt perfectly fine.
And then you didn't.
And then I did.
Yeah.
And I knew exactly what I had done. So let's just say that that house isn't happening. We don't know what we're doing. We looked at some houses this morning, and now we're in quote negotiating with something else.
Yep, and
that I at least didn't have a significant reaction to. So there's that.
Yep.
None of us did. I mean, it was dusty, but it wasn't the same kind of reaction.
No, not at all. then it's always, you're going into somebody else's environment, and there's food and people and scents and all that stuff that, you never know how you're going to react to, that you're going to have to deal with. But, once you get your own stuff and you get somebody else's stuff out and get your stuff moved in, it kind of changes the game. But, we're still up in the air. We're still up in the air. There's nothing definitive. We're figuring it out. So,
no idea what
good
we're
times.
doing.
Good times.
I don't want to live in an apartment, but I
Well,
guess.
And trying to find, there would a month or two overlap, maybe if things go poorly. And like, man, what's that going to be? In all seriousness, what's that going to be? I have no freaking clue what that's going to be. I don't know of any. I haven't heard of any places that.
Right now we're at about a week to 2 week overlap.
Yeah.
Ish. Worst case scenarios, hopefully. And that's bad enough. Right?
We don't have the camper anymore, so that gets
No.
even trickier.
No, because now we got to rely on our buyer's ability to be able to hold off, and we don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So as of right now, we really are in an interesting little predicament.
Yes.
But we're just got to keep moving forward.
Well, and
I've been at peace with it. Not to say I haven't had my annoyances.
I do. Well, never mind. Sorry.
I loved that kitchen. I'm so mad about that. I really am. The mold house. Loved the kitchen.
Yeah, but the kitchen was the only good part of it.
I know.
It was.
I don't know. I was looking forward to the pool. I was looking forward to some good exercise in the pool.
Okay.
And then the house we looked at that we put in the bid on has a useless pool with a giant hole in it.
Yeah, an above ground pool, and the liner is like shredded. Just shredded. It's like, well, okay. They also had chickens under a trampoline.
Yeah, it was great.
And it looked like they had chicken fights in the dang freaking pool liner. It was just that tore up. It was bad. They didn't, as far as I can tell.
Just looked like
but it was just that kind of just damaged. It's like, okay.
So awesome.
Yeah. And the grading was tore up, so it's non-existent. It's like,
with the deck fully built around it.
Yes.
So there's its own things.
Has its own thing, yeah.
That our agent had done her best to point out.
Mm-hmm.
All of the things that we will have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, it is not worth quite as much as they think it is.
No, they want a lot for it.
They want way over actual value for the home, let alone all the stuff that needs to be done.
Well, again, it's one of those, if
it's missing closet doors.
Closet doors.
All of the flooring needs to be
light
replaced.
fixtures are missing and not complete and empty, and there's light switches that don't seem to do anything in places where they don't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of a couple of the bathrooms are just weird. Not bad, weird. Just weird. It's just weird layout. Anyway.
And as you reminded me last night, there was a period of time when we had our first home built, and it was a modular that I had it put up. That it was about 5 months that we were with my parents.
Way longer than what we had intended. It was supposed to be like 2 at worst, and it turned into 5.
Yeah, and I remember that. It was just me and you back in my old room, in my twin bed,
in a room that's smaller than the one we're in right now.
Yeah. So as
By
you
a
reminded
lot.
me, we did that once, but we did not do it with 2 adult children and a dog.
By a lot.
And
No.
I don't know. I just don't even know what it's going to look like. I don't know. We got to continue to pray about that and be level-headed.
Mm-hmm.
But
find a little hole in the wall place that does a week-to-week kind of thing. Maybe.
I don't even want to think about it. With like drunks and drug addicts next door. But we have a great mortgage guy. Shout out to Lake State Mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to do what he can, and
yep.
we're going to figure it out.
Yes.
But no, I'm not going to take some crappy deal.
No, it's got to be right for us. So it's, yeah. Anyway, there's.
It's got to make sense. I'm not at a stage in life where I can just remodel a house. That was 20 years ago.
It's one of those.
That literally was 20 years
could we?
ago.
Sure.
No.
Do either of us really have the drive or the desire to do that crap again?
No.
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 I mean, it's one thing to throw up paint and redo
You don't
the
even let
flooring.
me paint.
No.
When you start talking about having to install drop ceilings,
I'm not worried about that.
all the flooring
And I wouldn't want to do I would not want to do the flooring like on the ground floor. Mostly because I don't do that kind of work. Typically, I mean, I know what has to happen. I know how to do it, but somebody that does it all the time can do it in a quarter of the time that it takes me, and it'll look a little bit better. The basement, the time frame is much wider. It doesn't have to be done immediately. So, there's that.
there's that.
It's like you get the area you're going to live in done in a hurry and and then you don't have to come back and deal with that again. Kind of like we did here. Like we had professionals come in and do the laminate floor, and we haven't had to do a dang thing. It has been dead nuts perfect. Just exactly what you need. And it's going to be there for years to come unless the new owners don't like the color.
They can do whatever they're going to do.
And they can do whatever they're going to do because it's their place. But it won't be replaced because it needs to be. Because it was done right and done well. I can do it right, and I can do it pretty good. But I can't do it quickly. I don't have the tools, so I have to use what I've got, and I haven't developed the skills to know how to lay it out and do it in the most efficient manner. Now, in a basement, I can take my time. It's less of a hurry. As far as painting and drywall patching and all of that, it's like, I'm used to that. I can do that. We can get our youngest involved. She's painted her room because she felt like it multiple times.
Yeah, that's true. That happened. That's true.
So there's that, So, that's what we've been up to. We've been up to. Good times. Good times.
Yes, it was Happy belated Valentine's Day. For anybody that cares about that. It's also a different kind of Valentine's Day for us, I suppose.
Very true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wished I would have spent it looking at houses, but that's not how that went.
That is not how that went.
Okay. So, our oldest has started her job.
Yep.
She's happy.
She's back at a library.
That's going well.
Yes.
So now, any home that we look at, we consider the proximity of her job too.
Yeah, that's part of the equation now. Yep.
So it's been beautiful weather, but we know winter's not over.
Oh no, it's February. We've got this is like our premature false spring. Like more is coming. More is coming.
Actually, I just glanced at that weather real quick. I'm pretty sure more is coming like later next week. It's supposed to be like almost 50 tomorrow, though.
Yeah. A lot of.
I mean, no wonder I have a headache.
There'll be a lot of melt.
Oh gosh.
I mean, things are going to be very mushy.
So it's supposed to be like 49, Thursday 44. So rain on Wednesday, by the way, 49.
Oh, it's going to get super mushy.
Friday 36, Saturday 35. So like, it's going back downhill. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry.
I'm not.
Going all back downhill.
It's weather. Will I have a reasonable amount of visibility? And that's about as much as I care about.
It'll be really, really warm for a few days.
Yep.
And that's part of why I'm sure my head hurts, right? Not the other issues.
Yeah, the burny, itchy eyes.
No. Or the sinus. But anyway. Okay. So you picked something, kind of made me think of like Valentine's and February and
okay.
I don't know why, just like self-love,
Sure. Okay. I mean,
but you picked the prompt. We actually have a prompt today.
Yep.
You picked
old
that.
School.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So, you want to read it or do you want me to?
I mean, I guess I can. the phrasing on it is weird. I'd never say it like this, but here we go. Me saying I can't forgive myself, but bro says, if his blood washed your sins clean, who are you to keep scrubbing?
So if you've been listening for a minute, you know that we are believers in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this has that absolute connotation, right?
Sure. It doesn't necessarily have to, but in this case, their phrasing does, yes, but the concept behind it, not necessarily.
Well, then you go ahead and explain what song to you for this.
Well,
why'd you choose it?
Well, okay. I shared it with you and it resonated with you, and I don't disagree. It's something I think I can talk about. Because it is a very standard part of the human condition. Both with ourselves and with other people. There's the well, I'm gonna take it step back and remove the religious connotation and just to speak about it in general. If you forgive something, if somebody does you wrong and you say you forgive them, and then anytime they annoy you, you bring it back up, you didn't forgive them. Now, if they return and do the exact same thing that you forgave them for before, and they do it again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't say, you know what, this is the same thing you did before. I forgave you for that. Now we have a problem because you're still doing it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, well, you remember, before when you did this to me, like, you keep doing stuff to me. Like, okay, no, separate. If it's a separate issue, you leave it a separate issue. If you forgive somebody, you let it go. Part of it, though, is we don't forgive ourselves for our own failings. It's way easier, I find, for me, to actually forgive other people for their failings and their screw-ups than I am for myself. I can't believe I keep doing that. I can't believe I did that again. I can't believe I screwed that up this time. Again. I don't know. I don't know if it's a neurotypical or neuroatypical or just me, but I am way harder on myself than I am on other people. Mm-hmm. I think part of that is with other people, I can just walk away. You can't walk away from yourself.
Sure.
But I mean, it's I think there's been a lot of times that I've watched people say they've forgiven things and then still hold it over the other person's head. And that's not forgiving people. Now, on the flip side of that, though, is if you hurt somebody and they're hurt, and I'm not necessarily physical, but, emotionally, they're hurt. They can forgive you for hurting them. But that doesn't mean that the pain's gone away. Now, if we're messing around, like back in the day, working out with a buddy and we're sparring, we're boxing, and he cracks me in the face. Harder than intended, it's one of those, it's a thing, no problem, forgiven. Doesn't mean that my nose doesn't still hurt. Mm-hmm. It just means that I've accepted that, it's like, I'm not going to hold it against you that you just cracked me in the nose. I'm not going to try and get even. I'm not going to try and get back. In that case, maybe a little bit, but that's, that's part of the gig.
Sure.
But you know what I mean? Like, and sometimes I guess it's difficult if somebody forgives you for your failings, for messing up. It's like, Let's say I got mad and said something stupid that was hurtful to you.
Okay.
I might get snarky, but I don't think I've ever intentionally tried to be hurtful. I may have been unintentionally snarky, or I may have said something that was completely not what I meant to do. Doesn't mean that it didn't hurt you. And you can, and once I'm aware of the fact that it hurt you, you might, or have forgiven me for doing so. But doesn't mean doesn't mean I've forgiven myself for doing that to you. It's like, you may have forgiven me for my mishap, but
I think self-condemnation is the majority of an issue like that.
Sure. And I like, again, with the non-religious aspect of it, it's like, if you've forgiven me for screwing up, then who am I to hold? It's like, you are the victim. Who am I as the oppressor to hold it against, to continue to castigate myself for something that you've let go of? I'm not saying don't learn from it, and I'm not saying don't use that as motivation to improve. But if the person who was hurt isn't beating you up for it, then who are you to beat yourself up for it? If you are forgiven, legitimately forgiven, you can accept that and move on. Learn from it, which is always everything. I think every interaction is learn from it, one way or the other. And then you take it to the religious case, in specifically this case, that quote, how it's written. That's the trap. If you can't accept, if you read scripture and understand what's said, you're not forgiven when he says you're forgiven. You're forgiven when you accept that you are forgiven. It's like, the prayers are always, do you accept that, do you accept the forgiveness?
Well, that's a fair point, but I think there too needs to be the definition within the self of
sure, yeah.
What needs to be forgiven. True,
but again, I think that's the trap. I don't, it says I'm forgiven, but I don't feel forgiven. Well, you don't feel forgiven because you're the one that's still holding on to it. Again, if something, and in interpersonal relationships, if you don't feel forgiven from the other person, it's one of two things. Either you're not letting it go, or they haven't actually let it go. And if they didn't let it go, they didn't actually forgive you. They said the words, but they didn't have the meaning. Kind of like telling somebody you love them so you manipulate them to get what you want out of them. It's like, you don't actually love them. You don't actually care. You're just using that as a tool to get what you want. People use forgiveness for that. It's like, oh, you're forgiven. And then I'm going to hold it against you. Well, remember that time when you did this to me? It's like, well, if you really want to make up for that, you're going to let me do this, or you're going to get this for me. You're going to let this slide. That's not forgiveness. Legitimate forgiveness. As far as I'm concerned, it's like this situation and, that thing that you did wrong and our relationship are now as far apart as the East is from the West. The thing that you did wrong, I cast it, tied a weight around it, and I threw it into the deepest part of the ocean, never to be seen again. It's gone. I'm not going to hold on to it. I'm not going to think of it. And if it pops into my freaking head, I said I forgive you, go away and throw it back in the water. That's forgiveness. That doesn't mean I forgave you for hurting me, but you keep hurting me in the exact same way again, that I keep letting you do it. That's not, there's part of the transaction of forgiveness is I forgive you for hurting me. And the price of that is you striving to not hurt me like that again. It's not necessarily a one-way street, though sometimes it is. I wish I could quote the studies. I can't. I have to, so I'm paraphrasing. But there have been a number of studies that have shown that people that hold on to a grudge. I love the old saying that holding a grudge against someone is kind of like drinking poison and waiting for them to die.
Yes, there's many different parables and different
Yeah.
religions about it.
There's different ways of phrasing it, but physiologically, holding on to hurts, not letting them go.
That's my area.
Yeah, that's your area, but I mean, but physiologically speaking, it is nasty for your immune system. It's terrible for your general mental health. It's terrible for you physiologically speaking. It's in your best interest to get to a point where you can let it go. There's another one of those old adages that I still love because it does hold, as much as you don't want it to be true, it does prove to be true more often than not. And that's never attribute to malice what can be attributed to ignorance. People are more often stupid than evil.
Yeah.
I guess it's the rude way of putting it, but it's like more often than not, people just do dumb things. They're not actually, there's no harmful intent. They're just dumb.
Well,
or ignorant.
Within the concept of your prompt,
yes.
If his blood, that's Christ, his blood washed your sins clean, who are you to keep scrubbing? So you're right. No matter if you want to look at this in a religious connotation or not, though this is the phrasing is there.
The prompt itself is coming from that standpoint.
It is about receiving, living out, not dwelling on, not looking back on, not continue to speak as if you are condemned in some way. And I think that self-forgiveness is it's incredibly difficult, as I deal with people all the time that have some level of it.
And it's one of those. I'm not saying that concept
self-condemnation.
It's not an
self-forgiveness.
Easy thing. There's I think there's a bunch of different things I've heard, sayings I've heard that are popping into my head. But like one of them is that kind of falls in line with that is my biggest fear is that the people around me will see me the way I see me. Because we are cognizant of all the stuff that runs through our head that we're ashamed of.
Of course.
The things that I've said that I really wish I hadn't said, or the things I've done that I really wish I hadn't done, and all of the things that pop into my head that I don't want anybody else to know exist. It's like I know them in me. You know yours. Whoever you're talking to, they have theirs and they know theirs. And and those, we judge ourselves on those things all too often. And I kind of, for me, take with that what you will. Sorry, I hear a noise.
I think you hear the dishwasher.
Yes, but it's echoing from my left side. It's echoing off of the wall behind me in a way that it didn't used to, because there used to be bookshelves behind me.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's distracting. I'm good. But anyway, little sorry. But throughout life, you get tainted. Your thoughts get tainted. Your mind gets everything that you've ever been exposed to, good, bad, indifferent, horrible, awesome, is in your head and makes up part of who you are. And you can spend your life filling yourself with positive. It doesn't get rid of the stuff that's already in the pool,
Well, it's about letting go, though.
Yeah.
That's the premise of this, right?
Yes.
That you stop scrubbing.
Yeah. Well, and once
holding on.
Once it's clean, scrubbing it more won't make it cleaner. Once it's been dealt with, Like you break your arm, once the arm's knit back together again, you can take the cast off. It's like you don't have to keep treating it like it's still broken. But like just because it's in there doesn't mean it's you anymore. There's a phrase, I think it was Nietzsche, called it the call of the abyss. That if you stand at you go to the Grand Canyon, you're standing on the edge and you're looking out over this gigantic wonder, and part of your brain goes, I wonder what it would be like to jump. Where the heck does that come from? Or every time I've ever used a table saw.
People talk about intrusive thoughts all the time.
Yeah, well, exactly. Those intrusive thoughts, those come from somewhere. But just because they're coming from somewhere doesn't mean that that's who you are. It just means you've been exposed to something and it's in there. Mm-hmm. It's not the thought that you have. Like if you read through Scripture, no one was ever condemned for the thought that popped into their head. No one was ever accused of sin for having an errant thought pop into their skull. It was always, what did they do with that thought? It was David and Bathsheba, I believe it was. I think it's Bathsheba. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the roof?
Yes.
Yes.
He was walking around on his property on one of the balconies, says the roof. It's like, okay, fine, cool, the roof. Taking a look around. It's his place, he can do that. He's allowed. And he glances over and sees a lady taking a bath in the open air bathing pool. That right there, that's just an errant, okay, all right, time to look away. He was still in that moment sinless. Then he turned and kept looking. And then that decision is where he started his fall. The thought wasn't. The problem, and here's where I'm going with that. I think a lot of times we let that errant thought be the thing that we focus on. It's like, yeah. Why did I have that? Why did I want to kick that puppy? I like puppies. A puppy is like it's annoying. Like every now and again you want to throttle the dog because she's just in your face. I get it. You have that thought. It's like, you know what? That's not my thought. That's not from me, and that's not what I'm gonna do. So you can go away. And you kind of train yourself to, it's like those errant thoughts, that's not me.
That's what I train. That's what I guide people. And
yeah,
I
it's like
people to
that.
do
That doesn't. But
I give them the tools to try to learn to do that themselves.
And you should strive to put more good things into your head, so those, you give your errant thoughts better fuel to feed off of. But I think more times than not, that's what we judge ourselves on. Those bits and pieces of ourselves that we're less than proud of. And, it's like, that one time when I was 6, I stole that candy bar from the store, and you're still beating yourself up about it. Maybe, just maybe, it's time for you to let that go. If you can, it's like, if you've made amends, you can let it go. If the person you took it from or the person you hurt forgave you, you can let it go. If you've been forgiven, you can let it go.
Most especially,
you're
been forgiven. Yes.
And once you've been forgiven, it's like if you're already spotlessly clean, then by trying to clean it more, you're just going to do damage. Ask anybody with OCD after 20 minutes of scrubbing their hands and they're bloody and raw.
Like literally.
Literal hardcore OCD. Not that little bend that I think we all get
like the
sometimes.
The actual disorder.
Yeah, the actual disorder, the debilitating.
Actually, I have
disorder.
a client that does have. Oh my gosh, I just went out of my head. Exhortation, picking.
Mm.
Picking, which is part of OCD.
Yeah, it's obsessive. It's a
Yes.
compulsion
you get upset and you like pick at yourself. Yep.
It's it's not you're just a little freaky about things being in certain orders.
No.
It's compulsion. It's like you can't function unless things are a certain way, and sometimes that certain way is really bad. And you know it's really bad, which adds to the complexity of the entire problem. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's that's kind of why it sticks in my head, I guess, or that kind of resonated. It's like I think we all catch ourselves doing it sometimes. It's like, okay, you know what? I am past that. I am forgiven of that. The people involved have moved past it. Why am I still holding on to it? And part of it could be, did I really learn the lesson? You know, there's times where things pop into your head because there's still something there that you need to learn from. But that's not the same thing as beating yourself up over it or tormenting yourself over it.
No. Right. No.
You know, you can, or trying to make amends. Not, and like, just because, and I'm not saying that, you know, if you did something to hurt somebody, that you shouldn't, you know, they forgave you. You should do what is within your power to mitigate the harm that you caused. Not because it's contingent upon their forgiveness, but because if you did wrong by someone, you should try and set them right because you're the one that caused them harm. You know,
it's not an eye for. It's not always. An eye
you know,
for
it's
eye.
not, and it's not a. I'm trying to make up for it. It's this person. I'm responsible for making them not right. To a degree, whatever degree that happens to be. That makes me responsible to put them as right as I can as a result of that. Now, if you steal somebody's lunch money, petty, stupid little thing, you stole their, you stole their lunch money, and you know what? It's like they forgave you. It's like, you know what? It was probably 20 years ago. You know, because who's stealing lunch money these days? You know, it's like
I don't think there is a thing.
I don't even think. Yeah, I don't think that's a thing anymore. They have the accounts and all that. But whatever. It's like buy them lunch. I mean, it's like if you took somebody's favorite pencil, replace their pencil. You know, if you said a harmful word with the intent of causing them harm. You can uplift them. It's like, you know what, I don't know where that came from. It's like I was in a bad mood or I was ticked off or, you know, you unintentionally caused a lot of stress in my life and I lashed out. That's not on you. That's on me. And try and lift them up. Give them praise for what they did right. And give them, and you know, maybe, just maybe, it's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, this caused me some extra stress. If you do it like this, I won't get stressed out and you'll be doing your job better for everybody. It can be a learning opportunity for everybody involved. Depends on there's no way I can cover ideas for every possible scenario that pops up. But I mean, I think
it's not necessary.
The idea is there. It's like if you've, and again, it's not because, you know, I hurt you, you know, I made you -5, and if I give you the +5 to get you back to where you were, then you can forgive me and I'll feel better about myself. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is it's kind of like owing a debt, I guess. It's like you should owe the debt, even if it's forgiven. Like, you know, we'll make it. It's like, you know, this doesn't happen anymore. It really just, it doesn't happen anymore. Stores used to have charge accounts, in-store charge accounts, and then you just settle up at the end of the month. I don't know if you've ever dealt with that.
No.
I didn't think so. The little corner grocer that's now a gas station across the street from my parents' house used to be a little bitty grocery store. And it was like, there would be times they just need milk. Mom would say, hey, go over there and just tell them to put it on our account. Go get the milk. Talk to the grocer.
Yeah, that's
put it in the account. That's not a thing. But the idea is like, you now have a debt. Even if the grocer was cleaning his books, and it's like, you know what, you guys still owe this $5. We're going to call it good. It's forgiven. You no longer owe it. In his books, it's 0. And you can go about your life with,
I still owe him.
I owe him. Now, it might not necessarily be, he forgave the debt. So on the books, I no longer owe anything. We're even. But there's, you owed the debt. You got the milk. You still owed the debt. Even if it doesn't exist anymore. But you can repay that debt with kindness. You can repay that debt with patronage. It's like, yeah, he wrote off $5, but I've given him tens of thousands of dollars worth of business. He's like, you were good to me. I'm going to make sure I'm good to you. And it's not, and it doesn't change. It's like, it was forgiven. I'm never going to ask for that $5 again. It was forgiven. I'm never going to talk about that $5 that you owed me. It's forgiven. It's gone. It's dealt with. It's never coming back up again. That's what forgiveness is. It's never coming back up again. It's done. Unless the exact same thing happens again. You know, it's like, that's like, if you somebody flattens my tire, and it's like, and I forgive them, and I get a new tire, I'm not going to bring it up again. And then they do it again. Okay, I'm going to bring it up again.
Yeah,
Obviously, there's an issue here. I don't know.
That's not quite the same.
It's not the same, but I mean, it's like, I'm a little extreme and silly kind of example, but it's like, unless the exact same thing comes up again. It's like, hey, you know what? I thought we dealt with this. But again, it's like, if, I think people, myself included, we tend to hold, I don't hold a grudge. I don't hold grudges. I just, I don't need to. It's too much energy. But it's very easy for me to forgive others, and it's so much harder for me to forgive myself. And I think I'm better than I was. In a lot of ways. I think I'm better than I was. But, and it's kind of that same thought. It's like, if I was forgiven by the person with the authority to forgive,
that's also key.
Then who am I to continue to hold on to it? To hold it against myself?
I'll even go so far as to say then, if the person you wronged doesn't give you a chance to forgive, there's still the concept that you have to forgive yourself. Mm-hmm. Because we don't always all get an audible level of forgiveness. Yeah,
I'm going to mess the verse up, but so I'm going to just paraphrase. As much as it was within my power, be beholden to no man. And a lot of times people take that to mean money. And I think in most cases, yes, that does mean money, but it means other things too. Like, if you hurt somebody, you owe them. But sometimes people will not let you pay back that debt. They'll never let you forget it, but they will never let you forgive that debt or forget that debt. as much as you are able, you're obligated to make it right. And if they refuse, you still have to move on. And so, and there are times you're going to make mistakes. Everybody, we make mistakes. Those are, to me, a mistake is very easy to forgive because it's a mistake. Mistakes are errors in judgment and, actions made in ignorance. Those are for me, in my way of thinking, it's really easy to forgive. Because the hurt, the harm was unintentional. Brain's not working. Brain not braining. Anyway, like a toddler trying to get a glass of water, and they spill it all over the floor and break the glass. There's no malice. It was an error in judgment because they're ignorant. Like getting mad, holding a grudge, taking it personal. Like nobody is leaving that situation in a good place. Does that make sense? It's really easy to forgive that kind of stuff. It was just a mistake. Yeah, there's a lot of chaos and a lot of mess and a lot of cleanup that has to happen, but it wasn't intentional. There wasn't an evil thought behind it. It was just poor happenstance. Those simple. It's like you make it right, you clean it up. Okay, and you get on with your day. It's the ones that are hard are the times when you were intentional. You knew this was going to end poorly. Or this is in my benefit, but not yours. And you're going to get hurt for it. I can honestly say I haven't consciously made that decision. I probably actually should have thought more about the after effects of myself more than the effects on others in some situations in my life. But it's those ones are the ones that are, you have to actively choose to let go. And, or I should say, you need to actively choose to forgive and let go.
And let go. Yeah, that's fair.
And if you are the individual that acted in that manner, and you are no longer that person,
still have to forgive.
You need to, as much as you are able, seek that person you harm's forgiveness. And forgive yourself for the person that you used to be, especially because who you are now is because of who you used to be, the bad things included. Nobody, with one historical exception, nobody has started off being the perfect version of themselves. And you're never going to become the best version of yourself if you never let go of the person you used to be. Now, and I think that's the concept of salvation. Is the starting, being born again. It's like you start as a new person. In that moment, you choose, in the spiritual realm, I choose, I am now a new person. I accept the fact that I screwed up. I acknowledge the fact that I goofed. I acknowledge the fact that I can't move on without grace. And you accept the gift of forgiveness. And in order to accept that forgiveness, you have to look back on who you were and forgive yourself for being stupid and ignorant
It is incredibly
and
important.
and malicious.
And just
And at the
look
same
forward.
time, you can't ignore who you were.
No.
Because just because you're forgiven doesn't mean you still don't have to deal with the ramifications. There's the story. It's like, a person can be forgiven of murder. But because you're forgiven of committing the crime, doesn't suddenly make that person alive again. All of the lives that were touched by your actions, they'll never be the same. And you can be forgiven. And there are stories, you see it on the news all the time, people doing the victim statements at trials. And it's like, you know what? It's like, and they're heartbreaking. It's like, you took somebody important from me. And you know what? I still forgive you. And I hope that you see yourself on the other side of this. They're still going to have to pay for the price. The person still has to pay the legal price because the ramifications of their actions are still there. But they can learn and forgive themselves, forgive the version of themselves that doesn't exist anymore that committed that crime, and strive to become a better version of it while paying the price for being who they were. That was a weird sound. Sorry. It's like heard a little grumbly thing.
Sound like a motorcycle outside.
Yeah, it was weird. And I'm like, it's weird. The weather in February where people are out on motorcycles is just strange. It's cool, but strange.
Anyway.
And I'm very ADHD today.
Say, were you like mid-sentence?
Yeah, I'm very easily distracted. My head is not.
That's okay. You've been doing really well.
Well focused.
I think we're both like, ugh.
I hope I'm being relatively coherent enough.
Yeah. No, I think so.
There's. Yeah, I wish it was simple. I mean, the prompt itself is meant to make you think about it. I think it's like, if you're forgiven, if you've been washed clean, then why are you still scrubbing? Now, who are you to keep scrubbing? And I think it's like, it's, you can still feel I don't know if you've ever gotten like really nasty dirty and you just feel gross and just, ugh.
Sure.
And you take a shower and you're rinsing off and your memory can still feel the sludge on you. And you're washing some more, and you more soap and more shampoo and more scrubbing, and you're like, you can still feel it. And there's a part of your brain that swears you can still smell it. And you keep scrubbing. It's like, at some point, you have to accept the fact that you're as clean as you're going to get. And what you're still feeling is in your head, and you can shut that crap off.
It takes work.
It does.
It's not just
it does.
Instant.
And I'm not, and that's more literal than figurative. And I think you're leaning more into the figurative. But yes, and wholeheartedly agree. It's like there's a lot of times we hold on to stuff that we don't need to hold on to. Most of the things that we refer to as emotional baggage. So if you're still carrying it, then you haven't learned the lesson from it yet. It's like, that weight is there, and that weight is there for you to get strong enough for you to deal with it so you can put it down.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen, and unfortunately, bad things happen to a lot of good people.
Every day.
And bad things happen to people who aren't so good. And the only reason that they become better people is because they learn from the bad things that they did and that has happened to them. But the idea isn't to carry, it's to learn. It's like working out.
Which I shamefully have not done. And
Well,
a while.
Well, we packed up a lot of stuff to make room to make the place look nice. Anyway, so you've got reasons, but the idea with with working out, specifically lifting weights, you don't pick it up and then never put it down again. You pick it up and you put it down, and you pick it up and you put it down, and you get stronger. Your body learns the lesson of how to deal with that, and then you put it down again. And it's not the best metaphor because when you've learned to pick that, the 10-pound weight is no longer a problem. Then you move to the 15, so you're always picking up heavier crap. And, that's where the metaphor kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
Or analogy, excuse me. But the idea with emotional baggage, I am not a proponent of spending all of your time thinking about yourself. But if there's something that's holding you back, which is usually us as individuals holding ourselves back more than anybody on the outside of us holding us back, you need to understand what that is. Because you're obviously focused on it because you're focused on the weight. Figure out what it is, figure out what it is you need to learn. It's it's a phrase I've heard used. It's kind of a comedically used, but I think there's a lot of reality to it. Is bad things keep happening to me. It's yeah, that's because you keep doing the same dumb stuff.
Yes.
And that's kind of where that ends. It's you know what? Yeah, bad stuff keeps happening to me. It's then why do you keep doing the same stuff that leads there? Just saying.
Yes.
How they go? Our lives are 1% what happens to us and 99% of how we react to it. But anyway, the end with the prompt, I guess. If you've been forgiven, truly forgiven, both interpersonally and religiously speaking, if you've been forgiven of something, the other side let go. So why are you still holding on to it? They're the ones that agreed to carry it. If you are asking for forgiveness, that's more or less saying, I don't want to carry this anymore. Take it from me. And they grab it, and you still hold on to it. You're the one that's holding on to it. They're the ones that are trying to take it away. So, let go.
Let go.
Not saying that's easy. Sometimes the hurts are the easiest things that we can use to define ourselves because they feel so tangible. But we should never define ourselves on the things that happen to us and the things that we've done. We need to define ourselves with what we're going to do from now on. Yes, I'm the guy that stole. Yes, I'm the guy that lied. Yes, I'm the guy that hurt. But I'm not that guy anymore. That's who I used to be. And because of who I used to be, I am who I am now.
It's well put.
I try. Got to get cohesive at the end,
I'm literally in the business of helping people put all that together, so yes, it's not always easy.
And this is another one of those old sayings, but there's the old adage that anything worth doing is going to be hard.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of truth to that.
It's like if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, and then it wouldn't be special.
Grace and acceptance
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
Of truth.
I also like the way
of forgiveness.
it's like it's the way that they put that is you've been forgiven, which means externally, outside of yourself, you've been forgiven.
Yeah.
So inside of yourself, let it go. But you took that first outward step already. It's already been done. Amends have been made. Forgiveness has been given. Grace has been afforded. So accept it and let go. Yeah. And there we have it.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and it's not an easy thing. But it's an important thing. And it's vital to growth.
Very much.
Otherwise, it's like you don't, like you want to keep from sinking, you got to let go of the anchor. Just saying.
Very well put.
So, here we are. At the end of another one.
That went by quick.
Yeah, it sort of did. It happens when I get rambly.
I don't know. It made sense. It was clearly on your heart.
I certainly hope so.
Let the things go.
Yep.
Okay.
So, with all that being said, I'm Fix It.
I'm Feel It.
We hope you join us in the future.
Until next week.
Y'all have a great one.